everybody, you're watching Making It Look Great number 5, and this is another bonus tutorial, this time on the Butterfly Man tutorial. I thought that maybe I'll give you a little bit more insight on the butterfly rig that I did in the original tutorial. So let's just go ahead. As you remember, this is the butterfly that we used in the tutorial, so I'm going to show you how to make this work and how I build this. So let's just go ahead and create a new composition, 200 by 200, that's fine. Create a new solid, make comp size, whatever the color, we can use red, that's fine. And that's the first step, and of course we need to now paint the wing that we want to have, that we want to use. I already copied it, so I'm just gonna paste a mask to this layer, and that is the wing. Let's just move to full res. Okay, we can turn the masks off for now, and let's just call this master wing and make it a 3D layer. And now we can simply duplicate it, call this child wing, and we need to orient it the other way, right? So let's make sure we got the orientation set in the rotation tool. Just grab on the y-axis, hold shift, and that should be fine. Okay, and now let's make a controller layer that will create the animation for our wings. So creating a new null object here, let's call this controller, and create two sliders. First one is going to be our frequency, so how fast they go, and the second one is going to be how far they go. Okay, fine. So just in case you want to modify the shape of the wing, here's a cool trick. Twirl down the child wing mask options and do the same for the master wing. Just press M to reveal the mask properties. And I'm going to alt-click here and use a pick whip and point to the first mask of our master wing. And that way, if we turn the masks on and play a little bit with the shape of the wing, as you can see, the other wing reacts exactly the same, and that is very cool. It's new in After Effects CS3 and CS4. So let's just leave it as it was. And now we need to make sure that this wing is rotating the same way that this wing does. So first, let's set up the rotation, and then we'll play a bit with animating the wings automatically. So let's just zoom out here, make some more room. Open up the rotation properties, this should be Y rotation, correct? Correct. Okay, works fine. So, all we need to do is to pick whip Y rotation to this rotation, correct? Let's see how that works. Well, it's not exactly what we wanted, but we're pretty close. So let's just go ahead, twirl this down, and make this a negative number. So in other words, it should go the other way around. And okay, that's fine. Wings are flapping, very nice. And that's it. We can leave that as it is. So now we need to animate this property using our controller. So let's just click here, lock this palette, and create an expression for Y rotation of this master wing. So let's just alt-click here, make some room, and create two variables. One will hold the how fast they go value, and the other one will hold how far they go value. So speed, or sorry, we can't use speed because that's a keyword in expressions. So let's just use frequency. We'll do it the geeky way. Frequency equals this, and amplitude equals this. That should be fine for now. And now we're going to use mathsyn to calculate the angle. So let's just go ahead and do that. Mathsyn time multiplied by our frequency, and then multiplied by the amplitude. The way it works is that mathsyn always gives you the result between -1 and 1. And that's just the characteristics of the syn function. So here we're just providing some value based on time, and then we're multiplying the result, which is again from -1 to 1, by the amplitude, so by the how far they go slider. And that actually creates the exact animation that we're interested in. So let's just make this how fast they go slider. Let's set it to maybe 50. And let's make this 45 degrees. And let's see if that works. Okay, it works pretty nice. But it is a little bit too fast, don't you think? So to make it a little more easier to use, we can divide the frequency by some number. Let's try 10. And that way we can easily drag the slider, make it, a higher value for better precision. Yes, I think we can drag it up pretty high. Let's make it 232, for example. Okay, looks nice. We can also turn the motion blur on. That should add some quality to this. Okay, very nice. So the next thing is to create a camera. We can use whatever the preset, just create a new camera, that's it. And we're going to parent the camera to our controller layer. We need to make it a 3D layer as well. So let's just parent it like that. And here's the cool trick. And this is actually a trick from Making It Look Great number 4, where John Dickinson was showing you how to create this cool promo for the martial arts school. And he used a very clever camera trick. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you here. If you want more detail, make sure to check out the Making It Look Great 4 DVD. So I'm going to use the camera tracking tool to zoom in and out, but I am going to use the controller layer to actually rotate around the butterfly. And that gives you a very predictable results. Okay, so the only thing left to do is to create the body of the butterfly. Because as you remember, I mentioned that in some cases the butterfly might disappear because of the position of the wings. As you can see in here, we can hardly see it, and if we turn off the motion blur, we can even make it invisible like that. And we always want to have something visible, right? Because this is going to be our particle. We don't want the particles to disappear and then appear again. So to fix that, we can of course turn the motion blur on, but that's not all. We can also create additional solid layer. Let's create a new solid layer. Call this one body. And apply 3D stroke to it. And this is 3D stroke from Trapcode. Let's do it like that. We can as well close this palette. And now simply we need to draw a path like that. And here we go. Now we can simply play with the thickness and also turn the tapering on. And we don't need the taper on the start of the stroke, so we can just simply set this to 0. And the end of the stroke, the end of the taper, we can set it to maybe 80. No, sorry, the other way around, 20. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now we just need to make sure that the camera is set to comp camera. And now if we grab the control layer and grab the rotation tool, everything works just fine. That's so cool. Okay. So now we can simply go to the orientation parameter of our controller layer, create a simple wiggle expression. Wiggle 2 times within the range of 90. That should be fine. And let's see how that works. Okay, very good. I'm going to turn off the motion blur because it renders a bit faster. Okay, but we have one more thing that we have to consider. Since the butterflies should be flying from left to right, we want the butterfly always pointing to that direction. So we're going to use our control layer to actually orient the butterfly that way and then wiggle its position, its orientation, sorry, so that it looks like it's flying randomly, but generally in the right direction. Okay, so let's just try to do that right now. But before we start, we're going to add another slider that will control our wiggle amount. Let's call this wiggle and create a new variable here. Wiggle equals this, and then we're going to use this variable instead of 90 in the expression. So right now nothing is wiggling, that's good, and we can create 2 keyframes. First here, move 10 or 20 frames forward, set it to 90 degrees, go to the end of the comp, set the keyframe to 0, and then go back another 20 frames and set it to 90 degrees again. So right now, at this point in time, we can grab the rotation tool, orient our butterfly in the way we want it to go, just like that, and then simply play the animation, and the butterfly is flying randomly, changing direction, but basically it's always pointing here. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you in the next bonus tutorial. Happy After Effecting!